recommendation to say, God, I praise you. God, I bless you. God, I honor you. God, it wasn't even in and of me that this was done. But God, for your glory, I put it in your hands. For your glory. I ask you, do you have a word from the Lord on today? Was there a word spoken over your life? If you go to this ministry, I know there's a man of God that's going to speak a word over your life. Maybe it's a word that was from a year ago. Maybe it was a word that was 10 years ago. Maybe at your birth something was spoken over you and declared. But I speak unto you today that just like God would pay attention to the very last detail, so everything concerning his purpose, everything concerning his plan, God is going to pay attention to the very last detail. Everything concerning your purpose, everything concerning your plan, everything that he said. He's not going to let one word fall to the ground. He's not going to let one person mock. He's not going to let one person laugh. They all stood there and said, oh, if you be the king, if you be the Lord, why don't you let yourself down? And in a few days, you're going to preach and let you know who's going to be laughing now.
All right.
Because he did everything. If you obeyed what God said and you got a word, that word is going to be worked. That word was beaten. That word was tried. That word was whipped. That word was stretched. That word was pierced. That word was hung. And your word might be hanging right now. Your word might be beat right now. Your word might be stretched right now. Your word might be declared right now. Your word might be stripped right now. Your words may not be recognizable right now. For the Bible tells me that they couldn't even identify him as a man. So maybe you can't even recognize the word that the Lord spoke over you right now. But the Lord said he's going to fulfill every line, every word, every precept, everything that he said over you. So even though I can't feel it, even though I can't see it, even though I can't remember everything that he said, God has not forgotten what he promised you. God has not forgotten what he spoke over you. God has not forgotten what he said about you. He said, and it is. He's spoken, and it shall be. Just like down to the very last drop, that very last drop that fell from our Savior, he made sure that he held out to the very end. He held out until every word. He held out till he got the vinegar. He held out till he made it to Calvary. He held out until he got down to the cross. He held out in the face of his mother's tears. He held out in the face of his disciples leaving him. He held out in the face of people loving him. You just got to hold on to your word and hold out. You got to hold on to your word and hold out. Because just like he did it then, he's going to do it right now. Just like he spoke it then, he's going to fulfill it right now. Because God said, into your hands I commit. I said, this is approved. And God, I praise you. Your package is coming.